It usually starts with silence. Not the peaceful kind of silence where two people are comfortable in a room together, reading books, or watching a movie. No, I am talking about a heavy silence, a silence that feels like there is a wall of thick glass between you and your wife. You look across the dinner table at her. She looks the same, maybe a few more lines around her eyes, maybe her hair is different. But physically, she is the woman you married, she is the mother of your children. But when you reach out with your energy, when you try to feel her presence, there is nobody home. It's like living with a polite stranger, or a roommate who you used to know a long time ago. I know you have felt this. Maybe it started right after her 40th birthday. Maybe it was a gradual fade over the last 2 years. You ask her, so is everything okay? And she says, I am fine, or nothing is wrong, I'm just tired. But your gut tells you something different. Your intuition, that primal instinct deep in your nervous system, is screaming at you. It is telling you that the ground beneath your feet is shifting. You try to fix it using logic. You think, maybe I should buy her flowers. Maybe we need a vacation. Maybe she is just going through a phase. You might even go to the doctor or read articles about hormones and menopause. You try to label it. You try to find a medical reason why the woman who used to look at you with adoration now looks through you like you are a piece of furniture. But deep down, as you know, it is not just hormones. You know it is not just stress from the kids or her job. You feel a fundamental shift in the power dynamic. You feel a coldness. And here is the hard truth that most relationship channels will not tell you. You're not crazy. You're not imagining it. And no, missing and buying flowers is not going to fix it. What you are experiencing is one of the most complex psychological shifts in a woman's life. When a woman crosses the threshold of 40, the script changes. The rules of the marriage change. If you are watching this, you are likely standing on the edge of a cliff. You feel like you are losing her, even though she is sleeping right next to you every night. Stay with me. We are going to go deep today. We are not talking about surface level tactics. We are going to talk about the energy shift, the subconscious signals, and the reality of why she changed, and what, if anything, you can do about it. Welcome to Mind Before Skin. Let's look at the first major sign, and this is the one that confuses men the most. I call this the death of the caretaker. To understand this, you have to look at the biology and the psychology of the woman you married 10 or 20 years ago. When a woman is in her 20s and 30s, her biology is driving her. Mother Nature has programmed her with high levels of estrogen, and oxytocin. These are the bonding hormones. These are the chemicals that make her want to nurture, to build a nest, to take care of everyone. Think back to the early years. She was likely the manager of the household. She knew where your socks were. She remembered your mother's birthday. She worried about whether you ate lunch. She was constantly hovering over the family unit, trying to keep everything perfect. And with that caretaking came the nagging. Be honest with me here. How many times did you complain to your friends about her nagging? She would get on your nerves. She would fight with you about leaving the dishes in the sink. She would get emotional if you didn't call her when you were running late. She was always there, in your face, demanding your attention, demanding that you participate. But now, something has changed. The kids are older, maybe they have left the house, or they just don't need her every second of the day. And biologically, those bonding hormones are starting to drop. The fog of oxytocin is lifting. Suddenly, she stops nagging, and this is the trap. Most men, when this happens, they breathe a sigh of relief. You think, thank God, she finally relaxed. She finally got off my back. Finally. And I can have some peace. You come home late, and she doesn't say anything. She just keeps reading her book. You leave your towel on the floor, and she doesn't yell. She just walks past it. You forget to do the thing you promised to do, and there is no fight. You think this is a victory. You think the marriage has improved. But brother, listen to me closely. This is not peace. This is the beginning of the end. In relationship psychology, we know that the opposite of love is not hate. Hate takes energy. Hate requires passion. If she is yelling at you, she is still investing energy into you. She is still trying to get a reaction. She is fighting for the relationship, even if she is doing it in a way that annoys you. The opposite of love is indifference. When she stops nagging, it often means she has stopped caring about the outcome. She has looked at the equation of your marriage, and she has decided that it is too expensive to keep fighting with you. She is withdrawing her energy, She is no longer the caretaker of your emotions. She is no longer the manager of your life. I want you to really feel the weight of this. Think about the last few months. Has she stopped asking you for your opinion? In the past, she might have come out of the bedroom in a new dress and asked, "Oh, do I look okay? Does this make me look fat?" She was seeking your validation. She wanted to be seen by you. You were her mirror. But after 40, as the caretaker dies, she stops looking for that external validation. She buys the dress because she likes it. She wears it because it feels good on her skin. She doesn't ask you what you think, because quite frankly, your opinion no longer holds the weight it used to. She is becoming self-sourcing. This feels like a rejection to the masculine nervous system. You are used to being needed. You are used to being the rock she leans on. But now, she is standing on her own 2 feet, and she is looking at you not with need, but with a cool, detached assessment. She is realizing that she spent 20 years taking care of everyone else. The husband, the kids, the house, the dog, and she woke up one morning and realized, I am exhausted. Who is taking care of me? So she fires herself from the job of being your mother. And if you are still acting like a child who needs to be taken care of, if you are still waiting for her to tell you what to do, or waiting for her to organize your social life, you are going to feel abandoned. You are going to feel that cold distance I talked about in the beginning. She hasn't left the marriage physically, but emotionally she has packed her bags and moved into a different room in her mind. She is reclaiming the energy she used to pour into you, and she is keeping it for herself. This is the death of the caretaker, and for a man who is asleep at the wheel, it is usually the precursor to the death of the marriage. But why is this happening now? Why 40? Why not 50? To understand that, we have to look at the massive psychological pivot that happens in a woman's mind when she realizes her life is half over. Now, let's twist the lens. Because right now, you might be feeling defensive. You might be thinking, she's being selfish. I worked hard for this family too. Why is she pulling away? And that is a valid feeling. But if you want to understand her, you have to stop looking at her behavior as something she is doing to you. You have to realize she is doing this for herself. This brings us to point number 2, the mirror of unlived life. In psychology, or specifically in Jungian psychologies, the age of 40 is often called the noon of life. For the first half of the day, the morning, we are busy serving the world, we are building careers, we are raising children, we are following the script that society handed to us. For a woman, that script was likely be a good girl, be a good wife, be a self-sacrificing mother, put everyone else first. She performed that role, and she probably did it well. But then noon strikes, 40 hits, and suddenly the sun starts to go down. She becomes acutely aware of time. She realizes that her time on this earth is finite, and she looks in the mirror, and she sees the unlived life. She sees all the dreams she put on hold, all the hobbies she gave up, all the parts of her personality that she suppressed so she could be pleasant and easy to get along with, and a rage starts to build up inside her. Not necessarily a rage at you, but a rage at the lost time. She realizes, I have been living for everyone else. When do I get to live for me? This is the counterintuitive twist. You think she is changing because she is unhappy with you, but the truth is, she is changing because she is unhappy with the limitations she placed on herself. You just happen to be the person standing closest to her when the explosion happens. She is no longer willing to tolerate anything that feels inauthentic. Before 40, she might have laughed at your jokes even when they weren't funny, just to keep the peace. Before 40, she might have said yes to sex even when she was tired, just to make you happy. Before 40, she might have agreed with your political opinions, just to avoid an argument. She was wearing a mask, the mask of the good wife. But now, the mask feels suffocating. It feels tight. It feels like it is burning her skin, so she rips it off. And when she rips it off, you see a woman who has opinions, a woman who says no, a woman who sets boundaries, a woman who might suddenly want to start a business, or travel alone, or take up painting, or go back to school. And this terrifies men. Because you fell in love with the mask, you fell in love with the version of her that accommodated you. When she starts becoming her true self, her authentic self, it feels like a betrayal. You think, you changed the deal. This isn't what I signed up for. But here is the deep psychological truth. She is not changing into a different person. She is finally becoming who she always was underneath the conditioning. She is moving from sacrifice to authenticity, and this transition is messy and it is chaotic. She is testing her new wings, and sometimes she will be harsh. Sometimes she will be selfish. She is like a teenager again, trying to figure out her identity. If you try to control her during this phase, you will lose her. If you try to tell her, you are acting crazy, go back to how you used to be, you will lose her because you are asking her to go back into the cage, and once a bird has tasted the sky, it will never go back into the cage willingly. She looks at you, and she wonders, can this man handle my fullness? Can he handle my truth? Or did he only love me when I was small and quiet? This is the test. She is holding up a mirror to the relationship, and she is asking, is this marriage a partnership of two free adults, or is it a master and servant dynamic where I'm expected to serve your needs? If it is the latter, she is checking out. But if you can understand this, if you can see that this isn't about her hating you, but about her loving herself, then you have a chance. But to survive this, you have to understand the deepest shift of all, the shift in energy, the shift in polarity. Because it is not just her mind that is changing, it is her very essence. Let's go deeper. Let's talk about the rise of her inner masculine and what that demands of you. We have arrived at the root, the deepest layer. This is the part that is hardest for men to hear, but it is the most critical for your survival as a husband and as a man. We need to talk about energy, specifically the integration of the masculine. In Jungian psychology, every woman has an inner masculine side, called the animus, and every man has an inner feminine side, called the anima. For the first part of her life, a woman usually projects her animus onto you. She looks to you to be the decisiveness, and the direction, strength, structure. But after 40, as her estrogen levels drop and her hormones shift, something ancient happens in her biology and her spirit. Her inner masculine wakes up. She steps into her power. This is why you see so many women in their 40s and 50s suddenly starting businesses, running marathons, or taking charge of community projects with a ferocity you never saw before. She becomes more direct. Her communication style changes from hinting to telling. She becomes less tolerant of incompetence. She becomes harder. And if you are a man who has been coasting, or if you are a nice guy who is afraid of conflict, or if you are a passive husband who says whatever you want, dear, just to avoid a fight, she will absolutely crush you. Because now she has enough masculine energy for herself. She doesn't need to borrow yours anymore. And if you are not grounded, if you are not solid, her new masculine energy will clash with you. This destroys the polarity in the bedroom. Think about magnets. You need a positive and a negative to attract. If she becomes positive masculine, and you are still trying to be positive, you repel each other. Or worse, if you have become passive and soft negative, and she has become hard positive, the roles flip. She starts wearing the pants and she starts making all the decisions. And you might think, great, less work for me. But deep down, she resents it. And deep down, that you feel emasculated. She looks at you and thinks, why do I have to carry the mental load? Why do I have to be the man and the woman? And her sexual desire for you evaporates. Because a woman cannot desire a man she has to mother, or a man she has to lead. This is the crisis. But it is also the opportunity, because what she needs from you now is not what she needed when she was 25. At 25, she needed a provider. She needed someone to help build the nest, someone to bring resources. At 45, she likely knows she can survive on her own. She doesn't need your money as much as she needs your presence. I want you to understand that word, presence. She needs a man who is so solid, so grounded in his own nervous system, that he can handle her new intensity without crumbling. She needs a man who doesn't take her emotional storms personally. When she challenges you, she is unconsciously testing your frame. She is banging on the walls of your masculinity to see if they will hold up. If you get defensive, you fail. If you get whiny, you fail. If you withdraw and hide in the garage, you fail. She craves a man who can look her in the eye, feel her intensity, and stand his ground with love. A man who can say, I hear you. I see you. But I am not going to let you disrespect me. She craves a container. She has all this new power, all this new energy, and it scares her a little bit too. She needs to know that you are strong enough to handle it. If you can meet her with a mature, deep, the grounded masculine energy, and something magical happens. She feels safe. She feels that she doesn't have to be the man. She realizes, oh, he has got this. He is solid. And then, and only then, can she drop her armor. She can relax back into her feminine energy, not because she is weak, but because she trusts your strength. The game has changed, gentlemen. You can't just be the good provider anymore. You have to be the awakened man. You have to evolve. If you stay the same, you become obsolete to her new version. So, where does this leave us? Is it too late? Let's wrap this up. The woman you married 20 years ago is gone, and she is never coming back. I know that hurts to hear. I know there is grief there. You miss the way she looked at you. You miss the ease of the early days. But you have a choice to make right now. You can stay stuck in the past, being resentful that the contract has changed, is angry that she isn't playing by the old rules. If you do that, the distance between you will grow until it becomes a canyon that you cannot cross. Or you can accept the invitation, because that is what this is. It is not a punishment, it is an invitation. Her evolution is forcing your evolution. She is raising the bar. She is demanding that you stop being a boy, stop being a nice guy, and finally become the man you were capable of being all along. The woman sleeping next to you is a stranger, but she is a fascinating stranger. She has depth, she has fire, she has wisdom that the 25-year-old version of her never had. The question is not, how do I get the old her back? The question is, do I have the courage to date this new woman? Do I have the strength to win her all over again? The second half of your marriage can be infinitely deeper, richer, and more passionate than the first half, but only if you show up with a new energy. Stop looking for surface-level tactics. Stop trying to fix her. Look inside, check your own frame, calm your own nervous system. When you shift your energy, the whole dynamic shifts. Mind before skin, always. If this video gave you a name for what you've been feeling, if it validated your intuition, then do me a favor. Scroll down and leave a comment. Tell me, have you felt the shift? Are you ready to do the work? I read the comments. I want to know where you are at. Like and subscribe if you want more of this deep dive content. Until next time.